Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
It was the summer before the real world started, and the deal was we would get to go if we cleaned it up and got it running. That is old Winnebago, and winging a prayer down a 65, 5 best friends on football tires. I can still see Billy smiling when we finally made it to Talladega.
Talladega Super Speedway lives up to its name. Of all the closed-circuit motorsports facilities in the world where sanctioned auto races are held, it is the fastest. Constructed by the France family 10 years after Daytona International Speedway, Talladega was built slightly longer at 2.66 miles, with steeper 33-degree banking which guaranteed record-setting speeds. The pole speed for NASCAR's first race in 1969 was a stunning 199.466 miles per hour, almost 30 miles per hour faster than the Indy cars were then lapping at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Rule changes in 1987 meant that Bill Elliott's 212-mile-per-hour lap will likely stand forever as the qualifying record at Talladega and for NASCAR. Talladega is still the fastest track on the schedule. It holds the record for the fastest 500-mile stock car race at 188.354 miles per hour, Mark Martin's winning speed in May of '97, and produces some of the most exciting door-to-door action every year. Talladega puts on 5 separate race events each year as host of the NASCAR Cup Series, Xfinity, Craftsman Trucks, and the ARCA Series. But tonight, it's race 12 of the PSRA Open ARCA Series, and it's next on Track Limits Network. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the virtual Talladega Super Speedway. I'm Steve Singer with Track Limits Network, joined in the broadcast booth by Zach Millett. Zach, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, not much, man. Happy to be here in virtual Alabama. Let's watch this show, man. I'm pumped.
Tape delayed race. Of course, they ran this here on Sunday night. We're going to bring it to you as if it's live. We don't know who won, so we're going to call the action, and we're going to be surprised as everybody else watching this one. Let's get into the details tonight. Weather-wise, 84 degrees, 51% humidity, partly cloudy skies, 10-mile-per-hour breeze. Track temperature, 110 degrees Fahrenheit, 78 laps the distance, stage break at lap 20, full fuel on board, unlimited tire sets, not that they're that important here at Talladega. 1 fast repair, though, that's important, and 3 attempts at a green-white checkered finish if we so need them. So, Zach, obviously, you're more of a I like to use the brakes kind of guy, but Talladega Super Speedway brings its own set of challenges, of course. Everybody's packed up in the draft. You need help. You got to rely on the guy behind you, in front of you, to make the right moves. How do you prepare for a race like this?
Man, all you can really do is just hope that somebody's going to have your back here at the end of this race. You got to basically survive. That's the hardest part of these super speedway races. You got to be there at the end to have a shot. And there's a couple different strategies, Steve. You know, you could try to stay up front the whole time, or you can just kind of hang out in the back, and you know, you can risk losing the draft or getting caught up in a wreck. It's tough, man. It's hard racing. Like you said, I'm not much of a fan of this type of racing because it's usually your fate in someone else's hands, but it's fun to watch. You can't argue that.
Well, 16-car field, a little light on entries here tonight, but it's going to kind of give us a throwback to the old Busch Clash days where you didn't have as many cars on the racetrack. They'll still put on a good show. And speaking of the show, we're getting ready to get there and get this thing underway. So let's get into our starting grid. On the pole position with a lap time of 53.884 seconds. It's the 51 of Chris Klein. Outside front row, missed it by 28 thousandths of a second. The 15 of Vincent Short. Keep an eye on him. He'll be fast here tonight. Row number 2, it's Matt Nicholson from the Backwoods Bandits and Derek Runge, teammate in the number 99. Row number 3, from Num Thumbs Racing, it's Tom Barish. flanked by the 86 Bradford Aeroworks entry of Cole Ansley. Row 4, Bobby Hamilton Jr. and Corey Bigley. Row number 5, it's Derek Welch and Alan DeFries. Starting in the 11th position from Stinger Motorsports, the 57 of A.J. Rogers. To his right elbow, the 13 of David Bradford. Certainly one that's not a huge fan of these places either. 13th starter, it's Keenan Kimber. 14th is Mark Truxell. He'll be a factor here tonight and keep defenders on it. Frank Griffith, 15th. And last but not least, shotgun on the field, the number 56 of Josh Ingram. It's your starting grid from Talladega Super Speedway. Field is getting gridded up. I think we're actually ready to roll here. We'll keep an eye on these guys as they head down on their one pace lap of one before we get racing here in Talladega. And race car rolls away. Well, since we do not know the winners, and I assure you, cross my heart and hope to die, I did not look forward. Who's your pick tonight?
Oh, I was waiting for you to ask me this, Steve. To me, it's pretty easy. I think Super Speedway, I immediately think of that 15 car. I know Vince Short is usually really, really good at these types of places. I know he likes to stay out front, which is it's the hardest thing to do. It's so stressful. And he's just damn good at it.
Well, you took my pick.
I figured I did. I'm glad you gave me that pick. I'm glad I had first choice.
Well, with that said, I'm going to go out on a limb here at Derek Welch. He's already got to win this season on the road course. Let's see if he can get it done tonight here on the Super Speedway.
Also, a very good pick. He's always good at these places. He's another one that likes to get up front and stay up front.
Another quick look at the race details. 78 laps the distance. Stage break at lap 20. Full fuel, 100% on board. Unlimited tire sets available over the wall. A singular fast repair. 3 attempts at a green-white checkered finish if necessary. Got Terry Crouch in the chat. Haven't heard from old TC in a while. Good to hear from you, Terry. Thanks for checking in.
The man, the myth, the legend, one of the fastest iRacers out there.
That's the
especially on the left and rights.
He wasn't too shabby on the ovals when he gave a crack at it either. It's too bad he's not out here running with us these days. But either way, good to hear from you, Terry. Thanks for checking in. Pace car about to make the left turn. In fact, there it goes to head down the long pit road here at Talladega Super Speedway. But it's even longer run down to the start-finish line as it's not in the center of the tri-oval like we're used to seeing at Daytona. It's right there at a pit exit. So they got to go through this tri-oval before they'll see the green flag. Barney has it at the ready here. They're in the zone. They're coming up to speed. Green is in the air. We're racing from Talladega. Field still coming up to speed. It takes at least a whole lap to get these guys up to full song. So they're going to stay drafting here, packed up down the backstretch as they exit turn number 2. Vincent Short to the early lead, just about half a tenth ahead of Runge. Drivers shuffling out of line here, Bobby Jr., and it looks like Alan DeFries is well to the low side of the racetrack.
This is that strategy we're talking about. You know, the guys maybe cycling to the back, thinking safety first here.
Almost looked like inadvertent, but once you get shuffled out to the inside there, you might as well just say, you know what, I think that's a sign. Maybe we go to the back and take care of it.
Yep, the big picture racing here.
Coming back through the tri-oval, Vincent Short ahead of the 99 of Derek Runge. He'll lead lap number 1. We got the race distance wrong. Oh, never mind. I won't even divulge what I figured out with that.
Uh-oh.
Scheduled distance, 78 laps. Take that for what it's worth.
This is what makes this type of racing so entertaining, Steve. Lap 2, these guys are pushing and banging and leaning, and it's just scary.
Lap 2 in the books now at full speed as they cross start-finish line. We'll look at the lap times here. 51:10 for race leader Vincent Short, only 200 slower for Runge, a little bit faster for Chris Klein in third, and even further down the line, a couple of 50s up there in the mix. Bobby Jr. up into the 5th spot.
Now we do have one car off the pace here, Frank Griffith. It looks like maybe when he pulled out of line, he might have just checked up a little too much, and this is what happens. I mean, you fall back so fast when you get out of that main draft.
Griffith's going to need to just hang on here and stay on the lead lap before that stage break. Might be relying on that, but he's burning a lot of fuel right now, and he's considerably off the pace, so it's kind of the worst of two evils, really.
Now, if he goes one lap down at the stage, he'll be just fine. He'll get that lucky dog as long as he doesn't, hit anything, get off track or whatever. And he'll be fine. He'll cycle right back on the lead lap. But boy, if you go 2 laps down, that's going to be tough.
Benefit that he's got right now is whole field wrecks in front of him. He'll be clean as a whistle.
Yeah, he'll be in celebration mode then.
Terry Crouch mentioning a pretty light field. Should be a lot of movement, eh? Terry, didn't strike you as a Canadian, but either way. Again, we are on a tape delay, Terry, so I was told this ended up being a pretty darn good race. They weren't really going to do the tape delay, but it turned out pretty decent, so they opted to go for it, which I certainly appreciate. But we'll see how this one plays out because we have not looked forward.
On a side note, me being about 5 minutes from Canada, I'm surprised I don't say A all the time.
Well, you do sound a little Canuckish.
I figured I did.
Short continues to lead. Runge all over the back bumper, trying to save as much fuel as possible. Again, a full load on board, but never hurts to save as much Tiger for that tank as you can.
Yeah, and we'll see that when we come in to top off the tanks for that stage break. The guys who have to take a little bit more fuel, they're going to be sitting there a little bit longer.
On board with Vincent Short. Good look at the front bumper of Derek Runge. On board with Bobby Jr. now on the outside lane. Lead car in the top side here. He's up to 4th looking for more. Bobby Jr. with a big push from Keenan Kimber in the number 65. Kimber having some connection issues, though. Now, in your experience there, Zach, when you got a guy loses connection like that and you're in the draft, do you subsequently lose his draft until he comes back?
Yeah, I think you do. If that car's not there, you're not getting the benefit of that draft. But if you're the 86 car, if you're that 2 car length back or so, you know how you get that little bit better draft?
Yeah.
I mean, he probably gets a pretty good run when that car disappears a little bit, and you can probably get the back of the disappearing car a little bit. Looks like he's going to shuffle out, though, here, probably because of the connection issues, just to be safe.
Might be aware of that for certain, but just to expand upon that better draft when that car in front of you disappears, it's got to be a little tempting to take that draft and kind of work your way up to the next car in line. But the problem is if the car that disappears decides he's going to drop back in while you fill that gap, he's going to be in your lap, and it will be a problem.
Oh, yeah, that would not be good. Now, I'm not familiar with these cars as much, Steve, but usually that mid to high lane is a little bit quicker when the cars get all lined up. But, with the ARCA with a little less horsepower, I got to wonder if that bottom is just still going to prevail.
It does seem to change a bit throughout the course of the run. We saw it at Daytona that the outside was definitely the place to be, and a big block thrown by Nicholson on Bobby Jr. almost pinches him up into the wall, but Bobby gets to the outside, really no help. I think he was kind of hoping that Cole Ansley was going to step up to that top lane to give him some assistance. Ansley now up top, Nicholson in the middle, trying to figure out which lane he wants to take. Now he's going to drop it down in front of Mark Truxell.
Lap 7, guys, lap 7 or lap 8.
Kind of expanding on what Terry was saying about being a smaller field, is there's more room out there to work your way around, but these guys are still packed up. There's also not a lot of room for a big mistake. If something happens, you're still going to wad up a bunch of cars, and they've only got one fast repair as their safety net.
Boy, it is nice having that one safety net, though, for these type of races. And I don't know, being in fewer cars, if you make that mistake, as long as you don't hurt the car, that stage break's coming. You're right back in the hunt.
See, the tough part is right now, everybody thinks that bottom line is where you need to be. So it's going to be bottom dominant, at least for the time being, especially considering that the majority of the field is on the low side. That top lane's got some fast guys up there that know how to get the job done, but they just don't have the numbers to have the momentum and the energy to work their way forward.
And you better believe these guys are watching their mirrors on that inside line. When they see that outside starting to make hay, you might see a couple guys pull up and want to be that first car in line.
It's one thing I've always noticed about racing at these super speedways is the patient guys tend to be there at the end. The problem is they're all a bunch of racers, and it's hard to kind of knock down that desire to race and get towards the front. All of a sudden, you're just happy, you're comfortable there, third, fourth, fifth in line on the bottom, and the outside, all of a sudden, it's going to go by you like a freight train. The temptation is to jump up in front of those guys or even in behind. Sometimes that can bite you.
Yeah, as a racer, you want to be up there, you want to be in first place, leading every single lap, every second. But it's tough when all 16 cars want to do the same darn thing.
One thing to keep an eye out for, and if you're new to the PSR Open ARCA series, that word open, it means a lot here. This is an open setup series. They run their fixed setup races on Thursdays. In fact, they're running it right now over on an alternate broadcast. You got to pay attention to the temperatures of these motors because they can decide how aggressive that they want to be with those setups. They could maybe choke off the air a little bit into the front air dam and get a little bit more slickness through the air, but less air into the motor, less cooling effectiveness. Especially look at Derek Runge. He's been tucked up to the back bumper of Vincent Short since the drop of this green flag. Got to keep in mind here, you got to keep those things cool or you can pop a motor in no time flat. Derek Runge starting to look a little racy in behind the 15 Camry of Vincent Short. Don't know if he's going to step out to make a move here or if he's just trying to, like we talked about, get some fresh air into the nose of that Ford Mustang.
Yeah, the 15 of Vince and the 99 of Derek, they're working very well together so far, but I am curious that if Colt Ansley gets up there to that front row on the outside lane there, you think Vince would slide up to his teammate and kind of link up?
I'm not sure. You want to think that he would, but Vince has had a real bad string of bad luck in the last handful of races. He's leading this thing at a place that we know Vincent Short can win at. We've seen him do it here. We've seen him do it at Daytona. Maybe he'd be more comfortable with Colt on the back bumper than Derek Runge, but same token, Colt's known to be aggressive, and he'll fight a teammate for the win, too.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, Vince needs a good run here. It'd be good to see Vince get a good run at the end of this thing. Boy, just when you think that outside lane is starting to fade back, boy, you blinking. She's already back up there.
The key to it, with the exception of the 10 of Nicholson, those 4 cars leading that outside lane are disciplined enough to stay single file. That's really the key to it. If guys start stepping out of line trying to make passes, that's when they're going to start to lose that inside lane. They're going to drop back from them. But you're right, Zach. Every lap or so, they're inching a little bit closer to the front. And now they got a little bit more numbers in behind Nicholson. His Truxell has changed lanes. He's now the last car in that outside lane, but he's pumping a lot of fresh air in the nose of his Mustang. He'll have to tuck back in behind the 10 here.
And we're still running pretty safe here. I mean, you can see the space in between the low and top lane. We get to the end of these things, they're going to be pretty tight trying to get that side draft.
We'll jump on board here with Derek Runge as he runs the tire tracks of Vincent Short. And you can see on the dash, water temp 200. That's nothing to be worried about. 220 on the oil temp. It's getting there, but not horrible. We're not in the orange or the red yet. A little bit of a bump down the backstretch. Bobby Jr., remember, he was up to the 3rd or 4th spot not too long ago. He has fallen back with that outside lane. I think, Zach, you kind of mentioned it too. They're all keeping some safe distances between each other right now, but Runge has a run here building out of 2. He's just going to give a bump to Vince here. I think he's perfectly content running in that 2nd spot for now.
Yeah, it's always my favorite place to be in this type of racing is that 2nd or 3rd car in the bottom lane. Nice and safe. You got an out if there's a wreck above you. You know, usually cars kind of tend to go towards that wall, and you can just kind of pull down and get away from things.
Frank Griffith, well off the pace, has gone down a lap. I don't know if he's got a problem right now, but he has gone down the lap and lost the draft considerably yet again. His last lap, 5 seconds slower than the race leaders.
Man, you almost think he's got to have damage or something to that aspect.
Either way, as long as nobody else goes down a lap, he'll still get that lap back at the caution. So far, it's been the Vincent Short show. He's led every lap to this point. We know he's good at these places, but he really hasn't had to face a whole lot of challenges from the 99 of Runge. He's been very happy just to run there in that 2nd spot behind Short. Chris Klein, kind of the same thing. The pole sitter here tonight, dropped back to about 5th or 6th early on, has worked his way back into the 3rd position. Now Corey Bigley 4th, Derek Welch running in the 5th spot.
Going to be interesting once we get towards the end of this stage, what kind of moves we're going to be seeing for those points.
Checking back on Keenan Kimber. Remember, he was right up there with Bobby Hamilton Jr. not long ago, running in the tire tracks of the 25. Had some connection problems, decided to pull out a line to not cause chaos. A smart move for the driver of the 65, but now he runs back in 14th.
Very noble move, as hard as it is to get up through this field in this type of race, and it breaks your heart to pull out and let cars go by.
Closing in on the stage break here at Talladega Super Speedway, 19 laps up on the board. An impressive run for Short to this point. Pit stops will be the deciding factor, though. Speaking of pit stops, Mark Truxell into pit lane. So he's going to try and short pit the stage here. I don't know if the pits were still open at the time. We'll have to see if he catches a black flag for this. Looks like he got away with it. So he'll cycle to the front. That's a Colt Ansley move if I ever seen one, but Colt stays out on the track. Mark Truxell opting for some strategy. Chris Klein trying to get some playoff points here as he goes to the outside on Derek Runge. That outside lane, they're trying to get there, get those positions on this last lap before the stage.
Yeah, you can see the pushing is kind of intensified here. We're going to see who can get there first. Chris Klein's making pretty good hay up there.
Outside lane, Colt Ansley pushing the 51, gets him a little crossed up in the middle of the corner, but he keeps it straight. Another big bump mid-corner from the 86. Not going to be much of a challenge out of Derek Runge. He takes a look to the outside, though. Oh, there he is. He steps on the line. Nobody goes with him. Corey Bigley's going to go there. And he gets It's turned, coming through the trial, will come into the line. Just kisses the wall a little bit. He goes from winning the stage to finishing last before the yellow comes out.
Well, you watched it live here. I tell you, when Runge made that move to the outside, Steve, Vince looked up at his mirror, thought about maybe trying to cover it, forgot about that bottom lane.
Bigley got crossed up too. He checked up considerably. Then Ingram gets a piece of his right side, sends the 58 car spinning down through the runoff. Don't know if he's going to hit anything. Yeah, he will.
Oh, that's going to be good contact there, Steve. Left front.
Years ago, Mark Martin did the same thing. There was no wall there. He drove through a couple of fences and almost ended up in the campground.
Yeah, he did. A couple jumps in there.
And I can't hit the live button, folks, otherwise it'll take us to the very end. So we'll just fast forward a little bit. I hate this more than rewinding. We'll call it good here.
Good thing you thought of it, though.
Yeah, I deleted the live button before we started. Made that mistake a time or two.
Hard to tell what kind of damage that 58 has on that left front. Probably some. It looks good, though.
It does look pretty clean.
Wow, really clean. He might have got away with it there.
Short hit with the right rear. He's got some damage on the left side, actually.
Yeah, that must have been the contact with the 58. I wonder if the 58 has damage on the right front then, if they made that kind of significant contact.
Pretty good bracing in the right front, apparently. So Derek Runge ultimately winning the stage. I will say this most recent iRacing update, as far as visual aspects are concerned, I'm very impressed. It looks way better than it previously did. If I've got one complaint, though, I can't shrink that iRacing logo in the bottom right anymore.
I did read about that. Yeah, that's new.
I mean, I get it. I just don't like it.
I'm still waiting for those pit crews to be run around every single car, Steve.
Yeah, I think everybody's got to have a 40 Series card or better to do that. So Chris Klein gambles on the strategy a little bit. We talked in the open about tires not being super important here. I think he opted for maybe just rights or just a full load of fuel. He beats everybody off pit lane. He'll be the race leader when we go back green.
Pretty familiar face right behind him, too. You got two teammates going to be starting on the front row of this thing.
Couple NTR boys going to lead us to green here when we go back racing.
Well, Numb Thumbs Racing.
Meanwhile, Vincent Short still on pit road here, trying to get some repairs made to that number 15 Camry.
Yeah, this is smart here. Just get it fixed, get it done. You're early. Got lots of time to come back.
Drops the jack, heads on out.
Pretty good looking car there, Steve. I got to say, that's my favorite paint scheme. That Crown car was a close second. I love that car, too.
I mean, I'm a fan of the sponsor for certain.
Which I believe is David Bradford, right?
Bradford and the Crown? Yeah, Crown Apple.
Yes, sir. I love that.
Should be coming to the one to go here.
Lights out on the pace car. Looks like we'll be going green this time by.
Front row, as you said, Zach, going to be the Numb Thumbs Racing teammates of Chris Klein and Derek Welch. And lead us to green. Derek Runge will be in the second spot in that
It's like
second
Vince
row.
Short came back down pit road here. Probably a good idea to just come in top off. And if you're at the back of the field, why not, Steve? Why not come down, top it off?
See, the trick to that is the top off at a super speedway, comparative to anywhere else. You might stay out on the racetrack a little bit longer at a different style track that doesn't require so much of a dancing partner on the draft. But it allows you to make a fuel stop and get off a pit road a little bit sooner than the next guy. So your pit stop, that last pit stop, is shorter. So you're spending less time there. You can get out ahead of the next guy, especially if it's under caution condition. But you don't want to stay out and have everybody else pit. Now you're the lone soldier out there, and you got to be careful about making that pit stop under green, because if you get back out there with no drafting help, then you're in the same situation Frank Griffith was in, where he lost the draft very early. Green is in the air. Kind of a slow start for Bobby Hamilton Jr. there, or that or 71 into Freeze swapped lanes up the racetrack behind Derek Welch. These guys might have a run off of turn number 2, might send the 1 to the race lead. We'll see. Big time push from DeFries, crossed up Derek Welch just a bit, hangs on to it, but it was worth the squeeze, because now he's got a nose out in front out of turn number 4 to the race lead, Derek Welch. DeFries takes a peek to the outside of Welch, tucks back in behind. Now Bobby Jr. closes the gap between himself and Derek Runge. Number 25, the H&H Unlimited machine.
Getting a little dicey out here, Steve.
I would expect nothing less. Meanwhile, Welch tucks in behind, 4th car in line to the bottom. Kind of what we saw in that first stage, Zach. Outside lane already dead.
Yeah, they might be in some lap logging mode here. Just click off some laps and not be too aggressive and just get to the end of this thing.
Klein continues to lead. Derek Runge, Corey Bigley the top 3. Derek Welch 4th.
Just like that, Steve. Top line is back, being led by Bobby Hamilton.
This is going to be fun to watch develop as the race gets nearest its conclusion here. That outside lane does seem to have the energy when they're ready to use it. But now you look at the numbers. The outside's got a couple more cars than the bottom, so that has a lot to do with it, too. Bobby Hamilton Jr. trying to take the top spot. Off-center push from DeFries, though. Wheelman behind the wheel of number 25.
I think we're going to get a little sneak peek here how long these ARCA cars can push without overheating. You see that top lane starting to fade back already just a little bit.
Let's go on board here with Bobby Hamilton Jr. as he runs in the 4th spot just to the outside of Derek Welch. Inside lane moving forward. Tom Barish to the back bumper of Welch. That's another teammate. Well, Zach, I gotta wonder if we're just kind of logging laps again here. These guys wanted to play with it a little bit, see what the outside lane would do, and he's like, all right, test confirmed, take care of the race car.
Yeah, and I think a lot of guys on that top lane found out a lot there. I mean, it was half a lap. They came from like the 5th row back to the front. I mean, that's pretty impressive. Just as we say that, though, Steve, here comes that top lane.
Bobby leading the charge. DeFries all over the back bumper. Then the 57 of A.J. Rogers. David Bradford in behind him. Vincent Short, Nicholson, and Colt Ansley. That's your top lane as of now. DeFries pushing Bobby with everything he's got right now. You got to wonder, is Allen just kind of doing the same thing? Are they kind of practicing here in race conditions to see what they can get done by themselves? Because it's working right now as Bobby gets to the outside of Klein.
We'll see if Bobby pulls down here. Yeah, there he goes. We're going to see if he made it to the front row, if he was going to kind of dive down and kind of try to lead this thing.
Well, if I'm Bobby, I would have dumped down there as soon as I could. Allen's pushing me with everything he's got like it's the last lap. I know Bobby can handle it, but it's got to make you a little nervous.
And you know the 71 can't push like that forever. You know, he's eventually going to get hot, so pull down and get some bonus points here.
So new leader here coming to lap 31 is Bobby Hamilton Jr. clean and in the lead over Chris Klein and Derek Runge. Continue to tick off here. Bobby Jr., your race leader. Chris Klein is second. Runge runs in the 3rd spot. Corey Bigley runs in P4. Derek Welch 5th. Tom Barish 6th. Keenan Kimber 7th. As he had a connection issue yet again. Then Josh Ingram, Alan DeFries contested 8th and 9th. And then Frank Griffith back in action here in the 10th spot.
I was kind of curious, Steve, if we were going to see that 15 car try to push and make his way back up to the front of this field, but it looks like he's just kind of hanging out back there with David Bradford, maybe just playing it safe.
Well, Vincent is on the same team with David here, so maybe he's just going to try and stay with someone that he can trust, knowing that Bradford is a teammate. He's got to hang out near the back, take care of the race car. I mean, David's We talked about it in the open here. David's not a fan of this style of racing. We've kind of got him to change his stance a little bit over the years. That it does take a certain skill set to be successful here. It was back in the day, he says, it doesn't take any talent to win on these speedways, but when you start to look at the list of winners, it's not a big list. It's usually the same handful of guys that tend to be successful at these places. So there's absolutely a skill set involved, and he's recognized it. He's won some races here as well. He's just not a fan of what they do here, but he lets Vincent Short go on by. I think Bradford's kind of got the heebie-jeebies as to what's happening up ahead of him, trying to make sure he's not in the melee when it happens.
Yeah, anytime you see it go 3 wide like that, I'd be kind of getting ready for it too.
Parrish to the inside of the 54 Griffith and A.J. Rogers. They were 3 wide through the tri-oval. They double up now. Barish gets alongside the 56 of Ingram. Barish, the 055 Monster Energy Camry on the bottom side of the racetrack.
And don't look now, Steve, but here comes that one car. He's going to tuck up behind Hamilton on that top lane. I bet you we're going to see the same thing. We're going to see that 25 car get shoved way out here soon.
Welch always runs well on the super speedways. I think he's kind of in the same boat. He's not a big fan of this type of racing, but he is good at it. Now he gets to the outside. Doesn't want to be the pusher who's getting pushed. Just inches off the back bumper into one.
That 25 car is clear, and we'll see what he does here. Looks like Welch is going to go up top side here. Oh, they're going to hang Bobby out here, Steve.
Now 3 wide. They got help in the middle there. Frank Griffith now to the inside of Ingram on the back bumper of Bobby Jr. 3 wide through turns 1 and 2. Top 2 get away single file, but that way outside lane now with no help as Ingram gets the wall. That's really going to kill the run for Derek Welch.
Yeah, Welch has got to dive back down here and get back in this draft and make another run at it. That's how fast it can change here, though.
Bobby Hamilton Jr. now knows out in front through the tri-oval. We'll see if the inside lane can come back. Now runs across the stripe as the race leader. Not a full car length by any means. Mark Truxell now sniffing the far high side. No help for the 5. Bobby's got to be careful. He's in danger of getting hung up the middle there, but Griffith sticks to the back bumper.
I don't know if Allen meant to do it, but he kind of pulled out in line here. Maybe he's seeing, maybe the action's getting a little too crazy and just wants to play it safe.
DeFreeze back now to the 12th position here. Bobby switching lanes here. Thought about going back to the top, but Griffith was to the right rear. Good job to catch that one when he did. That could have been a disaster for Bobby Jr.
But look at the momentum shift. That top lane was just sending it.
Frank Griffith was last place, a lap down prior to the stage. Now 17 laps later, he's in the race lead. Too far out in front. They're going to get a run behind him here down the backstretch. Bobby's going to stay to the back bumper for now. He is. Now, the other advantage here to being in behind the driver who's leading the race is you're not burning near the amount of fuel that he is. You can save some fuel without sacrificing the pace. Stay in that draft of that lead car.
Yeah, sometimes, Steve, the one place you don't want to be is in the lead. You burn so much fuel. I mean, you could be on a completely different strategy than everybody else behind you, which would pretty much ruin your race.
Keenan Kimber all over the back bumper of Derek Run. Shoots the 99 to the race lead. Chris Klein in behind Kimber, then Derek Welch. A.J. Rogers and Ingram. Klein swaps lanes, goes to the bottom of the racetrack, abandons Runge. Runge will cross over now and stays ahead of Klein. Now the outside lane. Keenan Kimber to the race lead. He'll shuffle down to the bottom of the racetrack. Talk about shuffling the deck here at Talladega.
It's a race to get to that front row, pull down to that safe low line.
It's kind of a tough decision to make. It's It's more comfortable on the bottom of the racetrack.
Wasn't right there, though. Pretty good checkup on that bomb, right in the tri-oval.
Yeah, you can at least pull it hard down to the bottom to avoid a wreck. Obviously, if you're on the top side, you've got that wall, and then you got the other line of cars to your left. You got nowhere to go, but it can be faster if you've got the help. Oh, Kimber loses
more connection issues. Yeah, not good.
Tough spot to be in for that. Right on the back bumper of Derek Welch.
I bet you Welch looked in his mirror and saw that car disappear and maybe gripped that steering wheel just a little bit harder.
Big checkup from the 65. Gonna try and build a run here. Derek Welch to the point, coming to the tri-oval, approaching the halfway point. We're a half lap away. Oh, trouble! Griffin at the wall. No caution.
No caution. Wow, that could have been so much worse, too. See if he can get back around to pit road here, Steve. That car is destroyed.
Certainly no aerodynamics left on the 54. Frank Griffith's going to try and nurse it back to pit lane. Meanwhile, back out front, Kimber to the race lead. The 99 of Runge in second. Welch slips back to P3. Then it's Klein and Tom Barish. Connection issue again for Kimber.
As if this first 10 cars weren't completely puckered after that.
No kidding. Runge was real smart about that. Kimber lost connection, and he checked up considerably. He knows that could be a problem if he comes back in the wrong place. So
yeah, that was a good heads-up driving by him.
So Welch to the point, Klein second, Barish third. Num Tums Gaming to the front of the field in the top three spots here, just past halfway. So 42 laps complete. We're past halfway here at Talladega Super Speedway. We're going to step aside, get a break out of the way. We'll be back after this. Spartan Transportation and Spartan Logistic Management is your one source for all your shipping needs. 53-foot dry van shipments, auto transport shipments, full-service in-house brokerage, drop lot facilities, just-in-time deliveries to all auto manufacturers, facilities in St. Louis, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, and Indianapolis, Indiana. Spartan Logistics LLC, proud sponsor of the IROC Series, Kyle Steffens UMP Modified and Silver Crown Driver, and Gordy Gundaker, World of Outlaws late model. Visit us at spartan-logistics.net or find us on Facebook.
Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
Back at Talladega Super Speedway. 47 laps in the books here. Derek Welch still leads. Chris Klein to the back bumper. Tom Barish third on the inside lane. Keenan Kimber, Derek Runge to the outside. Runge now jumps to the bottom. Kind of expected this, though, when these NTR guys got up front. They're going to be hard to guard because they're not going to make it easy for anybody behind them.
Yeah, and if they stick together on that bottom, they're going to be real tough to beat. These guys trust each other. They've been racing together for a long time, so they kind of know how each one drives in these kind of situations. But we see Runge make a move here to the top side. Let's see what he's got here.
Barish is going to have to get tighter to Klein there, I think, but I don't think the two-car draft on the outside is going to be enough energy to get by. And now Kimber slots down in front of Short. Short doesn't want to give him the space.
We also got to be thinking about pit stops here pretty darn shortly, and you're going to want to be in the bottom for that.
Yeah, we've been under the green flag here, I think, since about lap 23. Now, you also got to keep in mind that incident that we had with Frank Griffith that did not bring out the yellow. It's shuffled some of these guys back. Most notably, Colt Ansley. He does have Frank Griffith drafting with him, but they are considerably slower by about 3 seconds plus than the race leaders right now. So they're going to need a caution here.
Yeah, they're going to need one quick here, Frank specifically, because if he goes 2 laps down, that's really hard to come back from at tracks like this. And Colt doesn't want to go a lap down either.
Yeah, with the field size that we have, the likelihood of multiple cautions in quick succession, not that high. So Griffith really needs to try as best he can to draft with Colt there and stay on this lap. It's also separated these packs. Bobby Jr. leading that second pack.
And you know, I think they've been kind of catching this front group pretty steady here. It looks like about 4/10 of a second lap.
Yeah, looking at the lap times here, it almost seems like that lead group is in fuel conservation because they're running low 51s. That second pack is high 50, so they're 3/4 a lap quicker right now.
That's impressive.
Well, again, you got Bobby, David, Nicholson. Even those three guys, and David's pushing the 25 down the backstretch. There is no gap between those two cars. This throws it back to the tandem drafting we saw years ago in the Cup Series.
Yeah, if we could get those other 3 cars behind David there, tucked right up behind David, that would be something. They'd be really moving then. It's just crazy because this front pack is so much bigger. I mean, it's twice the size.
They're not that well tightened up, though. There's, half a car length between Welch and Klein, another quarter car length to Barish, about the same to Kimber. You got car length, maybe 2 back to Short. I mean, they got more cars, but they're not lined up.
Yeah, they're just like you said, they're just the gaps. They got to be saving fuel.
But they're at a point now where this next pit stop, if we run green to the end, they're going to make it. They got enough fuel once they stop.
This is important too. You got to make sure you got your friends coming in with you. You come in with just 1 or 2 cars, you're going to be in big trouble.
Yeah, hopefully Derek is communicating with Chris and Tom behind him. The other thing is, too, if you surprise the guy behind you, teammate or not, he doesn't have time to react. You're only a few inches off that back bumper. He gets on the binders out of 4, and you're not expecting it. You're going to wreck the teammate.
It's probably the hardest part about these super speedways is getting down to pit road speed in these cars. You're going from 180 miles an hour down to 55, and it is not easy.
Well, let's talk about that, because that's something that we've seen over the past handful of years. You're quite good at, especially at these places. You know, getting that thing late on the brakes as late as possible because you don't want to shed too much speed, and then get down to pit road speed at the very last second so you don't waste any time, but you don't get popped for speeding. How do you approach that? Is there any adjustments inside the car that you make for that sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing is I practice it like in the warm-up sessions more than anything. I mean, drafting and driving in line is no big deal, but getting to that pit road, that's some driving, you know, and it helps if you did it 5-6 times and you know what's going to happen. You know, you just kind of have to expect normal. Like if your front tires are locking up, you got to dial it to the back a little bit. You don't want to slide coming into that pit road entry because you're just going to cruise right over that line at 100 miles an hour and get banged for speeding. So dial some brake back, you know, and maybe just be able to slide it in there, you know. I hate to say sideways, Steve, but I'm usually pretty darn sideways when I'm coming in there.
Well, that said as well, you really don't want to slide the tires too much, especially if you're just planning on making this final stop fuel only. You get too much heat in that tire, especially if you lock them up, you get a flat spot in it, it's going to hurt the tire. And we got some pit stops here. Short's going to come down.
Ooh, who is coming with him, though?
I don't think... Oh, here comes that second pack, so he'll have some guys here.
Okay.
He may lose some track position, but he won't be stranded on an island by himself.
Boy, it was a pretty good entry for Vince there, too. He looked like he was flying in.
Well, we'll make sure he doesn't get dinged here. We'll watch for the black flag just to be on the safe side.
Yep. Yeah, it would have been technically a broadcast curse there, just talking about it.
And since it's David Bradford's replay, we get to see his pit crew, right sides only.
Imagine that every box. That would be something else. That would be amazing.
Short down and away, 11:85, the pit time for the 15. Bradford was a 13.7, waited to get all the fuel in it. Now, there's two schools of thought here with that. Again, we talked about this being open setup. You know, you got to look at how did these guys set up their race setups. There's a qualifying way to do it, and there's a race way to do it. You know, guys like David Bradford, he accounts for that weight of that fuel. So he might have wanted that thing to be packed full. It might be a little more time on pit lane, but it pulls the rear of the car down and gets that spoiler out of the air. So he's going to have a little more pace on the straightaway. Let that thing eat. Now, on Vince's aspect of things, maybe he didn't do that kind of adjusting. Maybe he did because he does have the ability to share those sets between his teammates, but he wanted to get out there as soon as possible. Meanwhile, though, I think we're under caution here. Mark Truxell might have had a problem out on the speedway. Yeah, we are under yellow.
Ooh, this'll mess up the pit cycle here pretty. If these guys stayed out, it's basically like a free pit stop, but they will cycle behind everyone who's already come down.
Yeah, it kind of works out for the guys that just pit. It's almost like short pit in the stage for them. This track is so big, they didn't go down a lap. Of course, Griffith went down from his wreck from previous, and then Truxell being involved in this most recent one. And just for the sake of showing it, I'm going to have to fast forward this because I cannot hit the live button, but I will take a look at the replay here just a couple of laps ago. Did this happen leaving the pits?
Ooh, gets on the flat a little bit. You can see the transition.
Yeah. Hit a bump and around she went. I don't think Mark hits anything here.
Boy, it's a shame the caution came out for that being that far off the racing surface. But
there was other guys on that pit exit, and it's all about closing rate that usually triggers it. Yeah, you got down just on that low, flat part of the track.
You see a splitter hits that different transition there, and it just upsets the car so badly. Good save, though. Keeps it off the wall, keeps it to fight another day. good piece of driving by Mark there.
And honestly, if we catch another caution, he's only a lap down. He'll get this caution. He'll get caught up, so he'll still be in the draft. So his day's not over yet. He's still got a chance. We saw how quickly Frank Griffith went from worst to first here in the early stages of this race. So she should be okay.
Now, if you're this front pack, Steve, and you haven't pit yet, I don't know. I'm not really upset about this. I can come down pit road. I don't have to do it under green flag conditions. That stress is gone. Don't have to worry about it. I still got my teammates behind me. I can come down and take 4 tires. You know the other guys are staying out. You're going to be mid pack regardless.
And you're also going to want it. You're going to want the tires too, because you're going to be a little deep in the field. You want that maneuverability.
Yeah, I mean, you can take the time, make the adjustments, like you said, open sets here. You can really make sure the car is right for the last stint here.
So Welch still leads over Klein and Barish. They don't need to panic about coming to pit lane together under green. They get to do it under the yellow. Still haven't caught the pace car yet, I don't think.
What kind of pace car are we running here? GT3?
It could be. So again, ignore the numbering of the caution up there. Again, when we run these replays, for some reason the SDK system doesn't keep track of the number of cautions. So it says 0th, which is bad grammar to begin with, but it's also not accurate. But we're under yellow for the second time tonight. So as you predicted, Zach, here they come.
Yeah, here they come. We'll see how many cars just end up taking 4 tires and playing it safe here.
This is going to put Short and Bradford on the front row. You know how difficult Vince is to get by. I think that's partially how he got turned coming to the end of that stage break, is he is not going to give you an inch.
Yeah, if it gets down to it, we're not going to see Vince give up that bottom lane like he did earlier. I think he's going to be pretty hard to beat up there.
Now, these guys may get out of pit lane before those other guys get caught up, so I think Welch is going to leave with 4 tires and fuel and still come out as the leader.
Holy cow, you're right. Yeah, look at the gap back. I can't believe that.
There's Short and Bradford coming out of 2 just now. So again, they didn't go down a lap prior to the caution coming out, but they were awfully close, so they really didn't have time to get caught up, I guess.
Well, boy, I mean, that changes things, Steve. I mean, if I'm Vince or Bradford or Bobby, I mean, I'd be coming down pit road, just top off, get tires, why not?
Looks like Colt Ansley is going to stay on the lead lap here. Truxell still down 1, but Griffith got back on the lead lap. Remember, he was involved in the crash. Colt's going to get the wave around here in just a moment.
We get another caution here. We're going to see Mark Truxell get that lucky dog, too. Be good to see him get back in the fight.
Yeah, again, I would never count out the 5, especially on these super speedways. We've seen him win on these tracks back in the Superior Class auto racing days. I believe it was a truck back in those days. But these ARCA cars, they do kind of drive similarly to the trucks, so it's something that's right in his wheelhouse. So we are on the 1 to go. We'll catch the restart here, lap 59.
I think we're going to start to see a different looking race here after this restart, Steve. We're getting towards the end of this thing.
Oh, it's definitely go time. Usually in that final 25 laps is when everybody has thrown strategy out the window. Again, they're likely all done with pit stops at this point. Cole Ansley just exiting turn 2, so he should get caught up before we're back green. Drivers that did not take 4 tires. Looks like Keenan Kimber, Derek Runge, Matt Nicholson, David Bradford, Vincent Short, Corey Bigley. Everybody else on 4 freshies.
Yeah, I think given the choice, I'd rather have 4 brand new tires underneath me. What about you?
I mean, I don't know. It depends on the track position circumstances here at Talladega. I like the maneuverability if I got to come up from deep in the pack. But it's not essential. If I got to make the call for no tires, I'm going to do it.
Yep, track position first.
Pace car is in as they approach the restart zone.
Ooh, that could have been a tough possible penalty changing lanes before the start-finish line there for the fourth car in line there. Hopefully he doesn't get popped for penalty there.
So far, so good. No black flag displayed. .25 laps to go from Talladega Super Speedway. Derek Welch leads his teammates Chris Klein and Tom Barish. Bigley now working to the outside of Barish in the outside lane.
Like Mark Truxell coming down pit road there. Might be a problem.
No penalty for Truxell. Not sure the situation there. Maybe he does have a damage issue to be concerned about. NTR still 1, 2, and 3. Meanwhile, Truxell will come to a stop in the pits.
It doesn't look good, Steve. Maybe he either forgot to put gas in it or maybe just kind of calling it.
13, 14, 15. That's not fuel. I don't know if he's got repairs. He still sits in the race car, but he's certainly going to go down a lap here as the leaders are going to be here shortly.
And that'll be 2 laps down for Mark, unfortunately. That'll be tough.
Car doesn't look like it's got damage, but something amiss on the 5 of Truxell as he comes to pit lane as we came to green.
Yeah, nothing on the ticker for black flags either, so I don't know. Hate to see it, though.
There it is, Zach. We're double, almost all the way back, but the outside lane doesn't have the numbers, and they just can't power through to get to the top spot here.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, you know. I don't know if they're pushing real hard yet or not. They still have that pretty good gap in between them.
Last lap for the leaders, 50.84s for the top 3. Now coming to the stripe, we'll see what kind of lap times we have now that we're all starting to get single file on the bottom. A little bit slower, 50.94, 93 to 94, and another 94 in A.J. Rogers. So very tight times here in the top 4. Short swaps lanes.
Yeah, that was a good-looking lane change, wasn't it? Pretty good runoff, too.
Kind of a smart move here. He wants to add another car to that top side, and he's the lead one to do it. He'd be the beneficiary if everybody could get drafted up. Rudge is certainly helping all he can.
Yeah, we remember in the first part of this race, the 1599. Boy, they worked real good together, so this will be fun to watch.
Well, again, the early stages of the race, they worked well together, but I don't think Runge was interested in making a pass at that point in the race. Now he jumps to the outside, takes a look, but Bobby takes advantage, hangs him out to dry, So now Bobby will go in behind the 15.
You gotta wonder if Runge maybe got real hot there and just had to get some air to that thing.
Runge drops back now to the tail end of that outside lane. It's amazing how much energy that lane lost, and they lost a couple of cars with it as well, so only 6 up on the top side. Now Kimber thinks about it, now slots in front of Vincent Short. A little gingerly, a little indecisive move by Kimber, and he gets it done now in the lead car in the top lane.
Now, those are going to be the kind of moves later in this race. If we see any of those indecisive moves, you know, maybe not sure where you want to go, that's where things start to happen. Vince Short's not shy about pushing, though. Oh, he gets knocked out of line here, though.
I think he did that to himself. I think he got too hard to the back bumper at Kimber, and I think he checked up to cut him a break. Didn't want to wreck the 65 in front of the field, but it's going to cost Vince a ton of track position.
I think you're right. Yeah, he was a little squirrely there. And better to just check up, be safe, and hopefully gets back in this draft and stays in this thing.
20 to go in a 16-car field. There is plenty of time for Vince to work his way back through. Remember, Earnhardt got his last win. He was 18th with 3 to go, and he still won the thing. So there's still plenty of time for Vincent Short.
Numb Thumbs Racing looking pretty racy down here in this bottom. They're holding tight.
It's all a strategy play, I think, for the top 3. I think last lap things may change considerably, but right now I think they're just trying to make sure they put the top 3 guys from NTR in position to pick up this win.
Well, you see the gap back from Chris Klein's 51 back to Tom Barish's car. I think that was done by that side draft of Kimber's car.
That was
I think he pulled down that mid-turn one. Yeah, he really pulled him back there. I mean, it's really significant.
Klein was wise to pick up on it, stayed connected to the back bumper of Derek Welch all the way out of turn 2 into 3 and 4 now. Allows Barish to close the gap to a quarter car length off of Klein, and that top 3 remains the same.
Under 20 laps, and look who's on that top lane coming, leading the charge.
3 more fast cars, Bradford, Short, and Ansley. Nicholson could work his way up there as well.
I think these Bradford Aero Works cars are going to make a run at this here at the end of this. I think we're going to see them link up and make a pretty good run to the front.
This really takes me back to the early days of Superior Class Auto Racing. The Holler Boys racing team was always working together every lap of every race at these super speedways, and it created a lot of frustrations. So there's always one of those guys picking up the win.
Yeah, boy, we had some good ones back in the day. Lots of fun when you got friends out there.
Middle lane not going now. Kimber, Hamilton Jr., and DeFries swaps lanes, and now everybody's trying to find a chair when the music has stopped.
A heck of a moment up on that top lane. There was 3 cars sideways.
Kimber and Hamilton Jr. now dropping to the tail of the field. They'll slot into the inside lane. 17 to go.
This is the first time we've really seen cars utilize that top lane. We see Bradford pulled down a little bit back in the middle lane, but it's going to be some speed up there.
Bradford, the lead car on the outside. Derek Welch still leading on the bottom. Big time push from Klein. Gets Derek crossed up, but he keeps his foot down.
See, I think this is what Bradford needs to do here. Get down there on the right quarter panel of these cars and suck them back.
Look at that. He's trying to drag Vince with him.
There. Yeah, look at that. Look at the gap between Chris Klein's car and Tom Barish's car.
Yeah,
that was all done by the front. Yeah. Incredible, though.
On board with Derek Welch. Klein peeking his nose out, trying to get some fresh air. That's the other part of the problem, is he's got to keep that car cool too. Outside lane's coming.
Coming and going, Steve. See what Bradford does here. You think he's going to pull down or he's going to stay with his teammate?
There's room for them both if they go down now. Yeah, there they go. Yeah. No, Short's going to the bottom of the racetrack. Bradford sticks with Runge. Now, Vincent Short, very familiar with Derek Welch. He ran over the Num Thumbs Racing League for quite some time, so certainly somebody he's comfortable drafting with, but it just didn't work out. Now, Bobby Jr. drops down. Alan DeFries drops down in front of Short. So that leaves Bradford and Runge on the top with no help. A.J. Rogers, 3 or 4 car lengths back. He's going to have to run them down to provide any assistance.
Top line all but shot here, just a few cars.
I don't know how Bradford did it, but he still had a whale of a run out of 4.
I think Bradford knows the run. Like, the faster line is that middle to top, and he's committed. Ooh, Chris Klein out of shape there on entry at 1. Good save by him.
Now the top 2, Bradford and Hamilton Jr. Now Runge up into the second spot. 6 cars in the low side, 4 in the middle, 5 up top. Bottom side not organized really at all. Now Short reels up into the back bumper of Alan DeFries.
Oh, big moment. Chris Klein turned.
Oh, Kimber into the wall off of 4. Crosses up in front of Nicholson. They make contact, but we stay green for now.
You think Barney lost his flag?
No, caution's out.
There it is.
Again, I say that. There's no automatic caution indicator under the replay session. It just happens.
Right.
So I got to kind of watch the pace of the field to see if we're actually under yellow.
Pace of the field, and that drifting pace car is about the only size we have. Look at that thing, dead sideways.
Zach Millen,
nice.
driver of the pace car.
Beautiful. I love that.
Well, let's get a better look at it here. Keenan Kimber, just a moment ago, gets
there's
into the back of Klein. Klein straightens it out after some contact with Ansley, but Nicholson really nowhere to go.
Yeah, it's tough.
I think Nicholson still has a faster pair. I think Kimber does as well, so his night not over, as long as he can make it back to the pits. And my least favorite part of this.
Fast forward, engage.
Yeah. Look at that pace car. Just
love it.
Drifting out of 2.
Beautiful angle, nice and smooth. Man.
All right, there we go. Now they're all going to coast past the pace car because nobody wants to pit.
Yeah. Yeah, and these things always end up going to overtime. So, I mean, if you're good on fuel to the finish, you might need a few more laps.
Well, that's just it. They're planning for that to happen because as it so often does on the super speedway, you're going to have to stretch the fuel because you're going to add laps at the end of these things in most cases. As long as they don't beat the pace car to the line, they're going to be just fine. And there it goes, up the middle.
I tell you, if I'm P6 or 7 or behind that anywhere, I'm coming in and topping off, taking tires.
Yeah, I mean, if you're deep in the field, you really don't have a lot to lose right now. I mean, Chris Klein, maybe come down and make sure that fender's straight a little bit. There was some contact, obviously, between Kimber and himself and then Colt Ansley as well. I still wouldn't even count Chris Klein out of this. Colt's going to come down. He's got some right front damage. And so is Klein. So Ansley, Klein, Nicholson, Kimber, they're all going to pit here. It makes sense. These are the drivers all involved in this caution in some form or fashion. Big time
like 10
suspension.
cars. Yeah, it's dragging pretty good.
Can't steer it. He can't get in the pit box.
Yeah, it's a good thing the track's so big. He can take his time, get it in there. There's the faster pair.
Interesting, Klein didn't use his. I don't know if he forgot to check it or if he just thinks he may need it again.
He might think he might need it here in the last 10 laps. You can see that fender just popped back out. He might have fixable damage here.
The left side's all banged up too, which isn't as important as far as the side force, as long as nothing's sticking out.
Yeah, you can really see the wave in that side skirt there. Oop, not anymore. Well, give that pit crew a raise, Steve. They did a lot of work and really not a lot of time.
Klein with the Cup team come down here tonight.
Yeah, something. Well, no surprise here, Steve. 13 of David Bradford, Crown Royal Apple, leading this thing.
He's a very calculating driver on top of having pace at most of the places that we go to. Obviously, pace isn't really a lot of the issue at places like Daytona and Talladega, but you still got to be smart. You've got to be there at the end. It's you go back to that line out of Days of Thunder. What is the one thing you absolutely have to do to win a race? That's finish it. And if you end up on a hook at lap 20, you're not going to finish it, which means you're not going to win it. Bradford takes care of the car. Looks good still. He's stayed out of everybody else's chaos tonight.
He's got a fast repair still.
Still got the fast repair. Bobby Jr. does as well. He's in behind Bradford. Now, they're not on the same team, but, man, they have been racing together on the service for quite some time. Again, going back to the SCAR days. And that's back in 2020. We're working on the end of 2025, and we're still at it. A lot of these guys are SCAR veterans. Bradford, Hamilton Jr., Alan DeFries, Vincent Short. I think Derek Welch might have popped in a time or two. Cole Ansley. Mark Truxell, of course. He's been there since the beginning.
Yep, lots of good memories of watching the SCAR broadcast. I raced in a few of them, and it's always such a fun league.
Yeah, Millet, you ran in the SCAR league for a little while, and honestly, it's the reason I'm behind this microphone right now. So we'll get 10 laps to go at the restart here. Again, we do have 3 attempts at a green-white checkered finish if we need them. Man, this really does just throw me back to the old school days of the Busch Clash at Daytona. You might have had anywhere between 10 or 15 cars out on the racetrack, but man, they were fun to watch.
Yeah, every one of those 10 cars out there getting it.
Pace car is in. Got a long ways to go back to the flag stand here. That's right at pit exit. Runge jumps out to the lead here into turn 1. Off the nose, Alan DeFries, Vincent Short in tow. Bottom lane, Bradford, Hamilton Jr., and Rogers. Now, 4th car coming up into the mix, Derek Welch on the low side. Oh, we got trouble out of turn 2. Tom Barish,
big.
Hard impact.
Boy, big wreck down there.
Caution is out again. Bear's going to drive it back.
This helps a lot of the cars that were going to be tight on fuel.
All right, well, against my better judgment, here's the replay. Parrish got up the top of the racetrack and tried to slam the door. No, Ingram comes up and gets into the left rear. Bigley gets a tiny piece. Griffith, ping pong ball tonight. He's hit everything. Big time hit for Parrish in the inside wall. Surprised didn't pop the radiator out of that old 55 Monster Energy car.
Oh, it was a weird moment there for that car to come up like that.
So under caution again. I lost count. Not because there's been a lot, just because I can't count.
New York math.
Yep.
You can see these cars kind of taking their time catching up to the pace car. Still saving fuel, still, thinking this race might be extended. Just playing it safe here. Not going to be many takers for pit road here. 8 laps to go, coming by this time.
Still about a lap away from the 1 to go here. Parrish, of course, having to get repairs made. Ingram doing the same, it appears.
Still a little bit of right front damage on that 56 machine. It's going to affect him pretty big.
I don't think it's going to hurt him too bad if he stays in the draft, but if he's the lead car in any lane, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, he even peeks out a little bit on that right side. He's going to be like a parachute in the wind.
You just poke the left front to the inside of whoever. Keep that part of the race car out of the air. He should be all right. It looks like Derek Runge is going to take the lead here on the restart. Still, again, another lap before we get the 1 to go. So we're going to take a short break here. We got a moment to do so, so stick with us. We'll be right back after this.
Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
Back at Talladega Super Speedway on the one to go. We're going to get the restart with 6 laps remaining. Front row will be Derek Runge and David Bradford. Row 2, Bobby Hamilton Jr., Alan DeFries. Then it's A.J. Rogers and Vincent Short. And frankly, Zach, the win can come from anybody in that top 14 or 13 for certain. I know Barish, Griffith, and Ingram may have some damage to be concerned with, but I think one of those drivers burned the faster pair. I think Ingram was the one that still had hits, correct?
I believe so, yes. But yeah, to your point, I've seen cars win this race upside down before.
Yeah, that's true too. And as the clouds get a little thicker here in Talladega, it makes it a dark racetrack. I remember watching Eric Dotson win one here in the dark.
Ah, the good days.
Pace cars in. Barney with the green flag back in the air. We're underway. 6 laps to go. Big time push from Bobby Jr.
A little bit of stacking up there on that low line, about 3-4 cars back.
Top 6 flying in formation out of turn number 2. Runge with the nose out in front on exit. DeFries way out of line.
We're going to see these lines be a lot tighter here.
Shuffle in the deck here. DeFries loses a bunch of ground. Had a problem out of turn number 2, and that moves Bradford to the race lead. Bobby Jr. second. A.J. Rogers up to third. Welch on the outside line in fourth. Now fifth as Runge gets along. Down to the outside. Bobby Jr. looking to make a run on the top lane. And the caution is out.
I don't see anything yet. Oh, there's somebody off the pace here.
I think it was Keenan Kimber, but I have nothing I can even click to show this one. So unfortunately, use your imagination.
It might have been a connection issue, too.
I mean, it's been an issue that's been plaguing Kimber most of the night. But I believe that was our first attempt at a green-white checkered finish, because effectively this would have been the last lap of the race. No, that would have been a legal restart. So this will send us into overtime. Now, those that are unfamiliar, green-white checkered finish, what does that mean? If you know, plug your ears. You don't need to hear it for the millionth time, but some might not. They add extra laps to the race so that we can try and get this thing finished under green flag conditions. Now, the caveat to it is the green comes out, then the next flag is supposed to be the white. So there's that green-white, and then, of course, the lap after that, being that it's the last lap, would be the checkered. So green-white checkered. The difference there is if we catch the green flag and we have another wreck before the leader takes the white, then we line them up, we add a couple more laps again, and we try it a second time. We'll do this up to 3 times. Caution comes out after the leader takes the white. That's it. Race over. Now, my experience with iRacing as of late, the caution never comes out on the last lap, even if there's a massive wreck. They just basically let everybody do it old school, race back to the line to finish it off, which, honestly, I like. There's no risk of injury here. It's iRacing. It's a simulation, but it's not that real.
Thank God for that.
We're not going to kill anybody. If we could, we'd probably have 1,000 bodies on iRacing already.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'd be very busy at work, Steve. Yeah, that kind of plagues the real-life racing at these types of racetracks. You know, it seems like the caution comes out after the white is taken every single time, and it just, you hate it. You understand it, you know, safety first, but you hate to see him not race back to that line. It's always fun to watch.
Well, I mean, a lot of it, too, is the driver's mentality has changed a lot over the last 10 years. And I think a lot of it has to do, and I hate to blame iRacing for it because there's no risk of injury in iRacing, but guys will do anything and everything they can to win these races on the last lap. There's no concern for the other driver. There's none of that. And even going into the short track ranks in real life, there's a lot of that happening where guys are like, I did what I had to do. I was like, well, what did you have to do? Did you have to outrun the guy, or did you have to wreck him to win the race? And a lot of guys don't care. It's just a matter of, I did what I had to do to win the race. Now, I get that to a certain extent, but it kind of gins up a lot of these races where we have to have 3 green, white, checkered attempts to get a race in.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. 100% right. And I mean, there's a lot to it with like sponsorships and stuff like that. You know, everybody thinks they have to win. They have to win. But I mean, personally, I have more respect for the guy that's going for the win cleanly, doesn't even get the win, finishes second, but doesn't wreck the guy. You know, I always have more respect for those guys.
Well, yeah. I mean, the guy that finishes second 3, 4, 5 times because he wasn't willing to wreck the guy versus just barreling it in there with reckless abandon. And half the time he takes himself out, and maybe he gets a couple of wins in the meantime, but that average finish over those races that he does it wasn't as good as those second places would have been. So it could cost you a championship too. Yeah, you got the checkered flag in the win, but now you're 5th in points.
And that's kind of where real NASCAR has failed these guys. You know, it doesn't reward the guy for finishing second place 10 times in a regular season and ultimately being the regular season champion. You know, if you don't win, you don't make the playoff. It's sad.
Yeah, hopefully in the near future, NASCAR makes some changes to that playoff system, at least set it up so that there's not just one singular race to decide the champion. I think it needs to be at least 2, preferably 3, a 3-race, playoff effectively. I mean, you look at baseball, for instance, they run a series of 7 games. At least that's the scheduled distance if they have to go that far. Yeah, there's that chance at a sweep, but at least the opposing team had other opportunities to try and best that opponent. In racing, if you take the green flag and you pop a motor and it's the last race of the year and you're in the hunt for the championship, well, you're done. Doesn't matter how well you performed. If you won 35 races that year, blow the motor, coming to green on that last race, you're not the champion, and you should be.
Yeah, you get one race to decide it. I mean, how much testing do they do at that one place? You spend the whole season just getting to the last race and being in it. But I don't know. It's heartbreaking that's kind of what it's turned into.
It is what it is. Coming to the first attempt at a green, white, checkered finish. It'll be lap 81 when we take the green. Front row, David Bradford, Bobby Hamilton Jr., row 2, Derek Welch, Vincent Short. Cream rises to the top at the end of these things. It seems to happen every time we come to these super speedways, and those are some guys that we expected to be in contention for the win, and here they are as the pace car heads to pit lane.
Who's going to take it? It could be anybody.
Oh, wheel spin for the front row.
Contact. A little bit of a moment there.
That's going to leave Bobby without drafting help for a moment. He's going to lose some momentum into turn 1. Bradford to the lead. Welch up to second. Big push from Vincent Short on the back of the 1. Vince has got to be careful. Don't push the pusher. Slots down in front of Bobby Jr. Now Bobby's going to push Welch with everything he's got.
Welch has got to act like the leader here. He's got to be watching that mirror. Whatever line's coming, he's got to make sure he's in front of.
Bobby switches lanes ahead of Vincent Short. That's the lane that I want to be in front of now, especially. He sticks to the back bumper of David Bradford into turn number 3. Cheats up a little in front of the 25. Bradford, we talked about dumping that thing full of fuel, and he's bottoming out in the middle of 3 and 4, dragging that thing on the ground. Welch is going to get hung in the middle of the racetrack, so he's going to drop back, and we got trouble. Ellen DeFries goes around, still no caution. Bradford with the lead through the tri-oval, coming to the white flag. Final lap from Talladega. A.J. Rogers jumps to the inside, but did he go below the yellow line? Now Welch crossed up on the apron. He'll have to join back up into the racetrack. Rogers with the lead. Runge in second. Bradford third as they work for 3 and 4 in the final time. Rogers trying to make that race car as wide as possible, but will it be wide enough? Contact now. Bobby Hamilton Jr. gets set down to the inside wall. We stay green. Rogers out in front. Vincent Short on the high side in second. Bradford in third, side by side with the 15. Big run coming to the outside. Bradford gets to the middle of the racetrack. There might be a problem for Rogers. Off of turn number 4. Coming to the stripe. Who's going to win it? Into the tri-oval. Does Bradford have the momentum? Vincent Short or Bradford coming to the start-finish line. It looks like it's going to be David Bradford taking the win at Talladega. A.J. Rogers will come home second. Short is third.
Wow.
What a last lap from Talladega.
Bradford lost the lead like 3 times the last couple laps, still managed to come home with it.
Showing why he's the Superior Class Auto Racing Cup Series wins leader. For those that don't know, Scar turned into the PSRA, the ProSim Racing Alliance, continuing his winning ways here at the Super Speedway. What a finish. Again, last lap, they were 3 wide out of turn number 4. Rogers got hung in the middle with really no help. Griffith's there, but too little too late. Short had a big run to the outside, but he didn't have any drafting help. Tried to close the door on the 13, but didn't have the space. Really, Vince should have pulled it down hard left and side drafted the 13 because he would have had the help from the 57 for at least a moment.
Well, with the side draft, he would have won this race. No question in my mind. If he was on that right quarter panel, would have dragged Bradford right back. Rogers wouldn't have anywhere to go. He would have won this race. Heck of a finish.
Incredible finish here at Talladega Super Speedway. That's really going to do it for us. Again, no interviews, a tape-delayed broadcast. The PSRA guys are in the middle of their fixed race that they run on Thursday nights. Unfortunately, this was the only night I was able to sit down and get this done. But let's take a look here at our race results. Of course, David Bradford picking up the win here tonight. AJ Rogers comes home in the second spot. Vincent Short, a hard-fought third. I would say that I guess I won this one here, Zach. I didn't get the race win, but we definitely finished ahead of your pick, I believe. Or no, you picked Short. Oh, man, I'm screwed.
High five.
I don't remember who I picked.
Thanks, Vince.
So Short was third. Chris Klein came home in fourth. I picked DW. Josh Ingram was fifth. DW Derek Welch was P6. Still a strong run. We had a great shot here late. Things just kind of went to hell in a handbasket for everybody at the end. Corey Bigley was seventh. Colt Ansley finishes eighth. Frank Griffith, a hard-fought night for the 54. Had struggles very early on. Went back, was leading some laps after those struggles. Still finishes with the top 10. Tom Barish was 10th. Derek Runge in contention all night long. Finishes a disappointing 11th. Keenan Kimber was 12th. Mark Truxell still battles back to finish 13th. Got back on the lead lap there late with those cautions that we had at the end. Alan DeFries was 14th. Bobby Hamilton Jr. with a problem on the backstretch on the last lap. He gets wrecked, finishes 15th. And Matt Nicholson, 1 lap down, last in the 16th position. It was, honest to goodness, it really was a good race to watch. There was obviously your periods of lull during the race, which is just guys are out there kind of riding, which is kind of what we see in modern day NASCAR at these super speedways. Again, take care of the race car, be there at the end. But man, those last 25 laps, everybody was on the chip getting after it.
Yeah, you got to love it. I mean, a lot of people say, if you take a super speedway and just fast forward to the last 5 laps, I mean, that's what you get. You get some crazy driving. I love it.
Certainly an entertaining one. We look forward to coming up. I think it's next week. Let me double check the schedule here. It'll be actually not even next week because we're coming up on Sunday night. We ran Talladega tonight. We're going to be at Richmond Raceway under the lights down at the Action Track down in Richmond, Virginia. So stay tuned. Tune in to us here at Track Limits Network. 175 laps the distance there in Richmond. Short track racing, back to real racing for what some guys would say when they talk about Talladega versus the short tracks. But that should be a fun one, especially with these ARCA cars. I don't know if we're going to have Zach for that one. He might be busy in some other leagues. But Zach, appreciate you jumping up here in the booth here tonight, being a part of this. Always a bonus when we can put an extra guy in the booth, especially when it's yourself or Chris Goins. We appreciate that quite a bit.
Heck yeah, man. It's always a pleasure being up here in the Track Limits Network booth.
That's going to do it for us. Congratulations for David Bradford picking up the race win here at Talladega Super Speedway. We'll see you guys at the next one. Thanks for watching.